1857. India was burning under British rule, villages were destroyed, innocent people lived in fear, and the British Empire believed nobody could stop their power. But during this dark time, one warrior refused to surrender. His name was Tantia Tope, the master of guerrilla warfare and one of the most feared leaders of the Indian rebellion. While British armies captured cities and crushed rebel forces, they could never capture his mind. He moved like a shadow through forests, mountains, and hidden villages, striking suddenly before disappearing again into the darkness. Every time the British believed he was defeated, he returned stronger with rebuilt armies and new strategies. His intelligence, speed, and unpredictable attacks turned him into a nightmare for British commanders. Even after painful losses and endless battles, Tantia Tope never lost hope. He inspired thousands of Indians to rise against colonial rule and fight for freedom. For Tantia Tope, this was never just a war, it was a fight for freedom, dignity, and the future of India. The rebellion spread like fire across the country, and Tantia Tope became one of its strongest flames. He escaped every British trap for months, moving silently through dangerous forests, rocky mountains, rivers, and hidden villages, while thousands of soldiers searched desperately for him day and night. The British called him dangerous, but ordinary Indians called him fearless. Villagers secretly protected him, gave him shelter, and helped keep the rebellion alive. His sudden attacks and disappearances terrified British commanders who never knew where he would strike next. Even after endless battles, exhaustion, and suffering, he continued fighting without surrendering. Slowly, stories about his bravery spread from village to village, turning him into a symbol of resistance against oppression. As the rebellion continued growing, the British Empire launched a massive hunt to capture Tantia Tope once and for all. Thousands of soldiers searched forests, rivers, villages, and mountains across India. Yet every time they came close, he escaped like a ghost disappearing into the shadows. He crossed dangerous rivers during violent storms, rode horses across rocky mountains at night, and hid among loyal villagers who risked their own lives to protect him. To the British, he became an invisible enemy they could never predict. His guerrilla warfare tactics confused even experienced military commanders. Despite hunger, exhaustion, and constant danger, Tantia Tope continued rebuilding rebel forces and inspiring more people to fight. Ordinary villagers began telling stories about the fearless warrior who challenged the British Empire without fear. To millions of Indians, he was no longer just a military leader. He had become a legend. But every revolution hides betrayal in the shadows. Eventually, one trusted ally betrayed Tantia Tope and revealed his location to the British. Surrounded by enemy soldiers, the great warrior was finally captured. Yet even in chains, he showed no fear. He stood before the British with courage and dignity, refusing to bow before the empire he fought against for years. The British believed they had ended the rebellion by capturing him. But they were wrong. They could capture his body, but never his spirit. His courage, sacrifice, and military brilliance had already inspired thousands of freedom fighters who continued the struggle for independence long after his capture. His guerrilla warfare strategies became legendary across India. The rebellion itself may have weakened, but the dream of freedom continued burning in the hearts of millions. Years passed, but the fire lit by Tantia Tope never faded. Villages across India continued telling stories about the fearless warrior who fought an empire without surrendering. Children grew up hearing tales about his courage, intelligence, and sacrifice. Young revolutionaries preparing for future freedom movements were inspired by his bravery. The rebellion of 1857 may have failed militarily, but it awakened something far more powerful inside the people of India: the dream of independence. Slowly, the spirit of rebellion spread from villages to cities across the nation. People no longer feared British rule like before. The sacrifices made by Tantia Tope and countless other freedom fighters inspired future generations to continue fighting for freedom. His name became a symbol of resistance against oppression and proof that true courage can survive even after death. India did not become free because of one hero alone. It became free because of thousands of fearless hearts who refused to bow before oppression. Among those warriors stood Tantia Tope, a man whose courage, intelligence, and sacrifice became immortal in India's fight for independence. Even after death, legends like him never disappear. They continue living through history, inspiration, and the spirit of freedom itself. When India finally became independent in 1947, the spirit of Tantia Tope still lived on in every corner of the nation. His story reminds us that true warriors never die. They become legends remembered forever, and even today the name of Tantia Tope continues inspiring generations to stand strong against fear, fight for justice, and never surrender before oppression.